Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Sadiq, and in today's video I'm going to install the 64 HD in my Nintendo 64. I got my HDMI mod kit from eBay secondhand because the retail price is actually well over £100, and I managed to get one for £35 or so. I'll put up a picture of the eBay listing if I find it. This is, however, a very advanced mod and requiring very good micro soldering skills. So if you do it, it's at your own risk. Let's look at the parts included in the kit. This is the main motherboard for the mod, where all the magic happens. This is the HDMI port and a 3D printed bracket to align it to the back of the shell. This is the ribbon cable to connect to the GPU of the console. To do this mod, you need a few things: fine tip soldering iron, solder wire, crosshead screwdriver, Nintendo security screw 4.5mm, small file, fine tweezers, something for magnification, preferably a microscope, and some flux. To begin with, you need to remove the jumper pack inside the trap door on the top of the console, as I'm showing here. Next, you need to remove the 6 screws underneath. These are the 4.5mm Nintendo security bit screws. The top part of the shell will just come straight off, and then you got a whole host of screws. Basically, you need to remove each and every one you can see here, and they're slightly different, some of them, so keep track of the differences. And they're all crosshead. Once all the screws are out, you can just disassemble. Everything else will just come apart very easily. Looking above the cartridge port, you can see the model number of the motherboard. This mod is only compatible with versions 01 up to 09, and if you see the P in the brackets, that's indicating that it's a PAL console. And now I'm removing the heatsink from the chip that we'll be working on, which is labeled RCP-NUS. Here you can see I'm giving it a bit of a clean to the points where I'm going to be soldering to, using some IPA and some PCB cleaning sponges. Okay, so this is the bit I was talking about being very challenging or very advanced micro soldering. So the way you need to do this is just apply flux and keep checking with some kind of magnifying glass. You can see I am bringing up my magnifying glass periodically to check my work, and ultimately it's just keep going until there's no bridges, because these are very small, really small pins. And yeah, so I'll give some close-up shots of what it would look like afterwards. Took some high resolution photos and I'll put those up. Now it's time to solder the 5-volt line to the voltage regulator, where you can see it's got plus 5V on there, and I'm soldering it to that point. Now to connect the control wire to the PIF chip, it needs to connect to pin 16, unless it's one of the later revisions. I believe if it's 06 to 09, there's an alternate location on a wire next to it. You can find that on the Gamebox 64 HD installation manual as well, but mine is going to be connected to pin 16. Here I put it back together just enough to be able to test it before I completely reassemble it. Yeah, well, it did work, but one thing to note, I was pulling my hair out because I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working, and it turned out I didn't have the jumper pack installed when testing it. So yeah, that's something you need to keep an eye on. When you're testing it, make sure the jumper pack is in, otherwise it will not work. It's kind of a tight fit for the 3D printed bracket, but it's a really snug fit. Once you put that in, you can align the port and to mark out where to cut. Right, so now I'm marking up where I need to file to make the space for the HDMI port, and I just take off, to begin with I take off quite a big amount, and then when it's getting close I'm only taking small bits at a time and constantly checking to see it fits or not, so that I don't cut off too much. So to reassemble it, we're just basically doing everything in reverse when we disassemble it, not including the ribbon cables. And so when we come to that, I'll explain if there's any differences. The 64 HD mainboard needs to be screwed in with the 3 screws on the heat shield, and the ribbon cables can be plugged in by removing the bails and then inserting them and then pushing them back in. As a side-by-side comparison with the 64 HD on the right and composite video on the left, I think personally the 64 HD does look sharper, but the N64's 3D visuals were not really something special to begin with, but it does improve on it.
Greetings, Turok.
Okay, so let's check out the OSD and the features. To open the OSD menu, you need to press D down on the D-pad, the C down button and the L and R shoulder buttons together, and hold it for a couple of seconds.
Once inside the settings, you got the option of display settings, and then you can change resolutions going from 240p, 480p, 720p and 1080i. I think from the current firmware, the 1080i is not really functional. And when you get to the scaling options, there's proper, which is the native resolution. Stretch fills the whole screen, and TV fills the screen but keeping the aspect ratio. Overscan allows to fill the screen up a bit more, and the audio sampling option, it's an alternative. I think it's if one doesn't work, the other should. If anyone has more information or knows better, put it in the comments please. In the picture config, you got filters to enhance, smooth and sharp. Personally, I can't really see any difference other than just brightness. And the filter brightness, just adjust the brightness, and I think the normal is the maximum brightness on there. And the de-blur function supposed to be able to remove the anti-aliasing the N64 does, but I can't really see it doing much. Scan lines as well, they kind of look yeah, I don't think I'd ever be using them. They don't look very nice, but they're there if you want it. Well, that's for all the options within there, other than to save the settings. Do I think this 64 HD from Gamebox is worth 120, 130 pound? To be honest, no. I think for the N64, there's not much any HDMI mod can do to improve it. So I think I only got this one because I got it second hand for about 35 pound. If I didn't get this, I would have probably gone with the high-speed Edo one, from AliExpress, which is about 35 pound or 40 pound as well. And for me, all it serves is the function of having HDMI out. Yeah. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to stay updated on my latest uploads. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.